My name is MS.ABA and you're watching Africa on Focus. Join me every week as I dive into the world of global Africans changing the world that we live in. Every Sunday on Hiradio.
They tell us that this particular person or that particular country has greater or more favorable potentialities than the other. They do not tell us that we should unite, that we are all as good as we are able to make ourselves.
Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Tomorrow, we go change them today. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We go change them today. Eh, eh. We know tomorrow gon' be different. And together we gonna shine, shine, shine. Oh. United we will change our story. And forever we gotta smile, smile. But for today I choose to be happy. And nothing gonna change my mind today. Winner, go be my portion. And nothing gonna change my mind today. Hey, hey. And my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head will never frown. Oh, my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I no go very frown. Tomorrow, I have hope for tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We gon' change them today. Hey, hey. You are the one who lights up my day. And without you, I'll never get this far. No matter what, even evil comes my way. You are the one who lifts my head in all. All of my friends have all gone their way. Want to ask me how I come this far? I tell them all my hope is here to stay. The Lord Almighty who never let me fall. Lord, my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I don't go they frown. Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. Lord, my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow be a better day, I no go they frown. My hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head go never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow be a better day, I no go they frown.
Until Africa comes together as a continent speaking with one voice, one continent, one people, nothing, and I repeat, nothing is gonna change.
Bruna celebration, Jaja make me pocket carry weight, oh. So I dey jubilate, oh. Make a dance, oh. Money dance, oh. Ready, you know some money and the meditation. Fire on the war and the segregation. To the ghetto, this is a dedication. Money have to make before the celebration. Block from the deal in a photomanto. Rasta have to drive anything they want to. You know what I mean, the girl around to. Crush up the hater like tomato. Emanebu, so many mango. Wherever them they and them me want go. Upe tundra and Africanto. I want for Patricia sexy santo. Baby, come with me to a special place. I want to go show you. Yeah. Baby, come with me to a place of money. I want to go show you.
Yeah. It's a brand new collaboration. Shut up all the time in the attention. Obey any jubilation. See we the speed more than Durango. Baby, I found my mango. And then you make me name canto. After that you go tell me Shanta thank you. Run your way, me new celebrate. I bring the SM the for the place. Tonight I get one some to dedicate. For you are my baby. Run your way, me new celebrate. I bring the SM the for the place. Tonight I get one some to dedicate. For you are my baby. So me sing.
Baby, come with me to a special place. I want to go show you. Yeah. Baby, come with me to a place of money. I want to go show you. Yeah. All the best in go the music and send you say. I couldn't have been sick and send your pet. Yeah. And you be to Quaima. Over to make us all no for more fair. All the music and send you say. I couldn't have sick and put the attack. Baby, sick a daima. Oh, no, come out, I'm a sickly telete. I'm on a long still figure eight. Man high, no be cigarette. Big sound clash na the place. Shot to the roof, got the fireplace. As a mini bell, yeah. Who let the high radio? As a shot and in the movement, do a on a betty pa. Baby, come with me to a special place. I want to go show you. Yeah. Baby, come with me to a place of money. I want to go show you. Yeah. Baby, come with me to a special place. I want to go show you. Yeah. Baby, come with me to a place of money. I want to go show you. Yeah. Boy, high-grade family shatter movement for the ghetto people groovement. Share. Well, I don't know, say it's a unity type of thing for the people, them improvement. And we say love, you know, to the world. I check. Another brilliant classic.
I've got something on my mind, and it's something more than gold. I've got someone in my life. He captured my heart, he captured my soul. I just wanna spend my time with you. All day long, me and you, we rendezvous. See this love way I did feel for you. Only you fit to me like you do. Oh, na. I will make my melodies to you. Oh, na. I will sing my new songs on to you. And I will bless the Lord, oh my soul. All that is within I will bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that is within me, yeah. Crown it with your love and mercy, So high the price you paid for me, sapphire. You are good, you are kind, faithful all the time, one of a kind. My past you left behind, you mesmerize me, you entice me, tantalize me, I'm the apple of your eyes. I will bless the Lord, oh my soul. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. I will bless the Lord, oh my soul. He has done great things for me. He has done great things. He has done great things for me, for you, yeah. He has done great things for me, for you. Bless His holy name. And I will bless the Lord, oh my soul. All that is within.
I feel bad I couldn't let that fade because that's really restricted to, a studio setting. But we will throw and work with the things that we can work with. I think that's really the theme for today. Welcome everybody to Africa on Focus on lockdown, lockdown mode. I think it's not really new to us how lockdown has been for our radio shows. Simply because here in Amsterdam, which we are tuning in from, we are dealing with curfew, we're dealing with lockdown, and my show closes at 9, so we felt it was good to still bring it at home, continue the conversations, so that we could still talk about what's going on in the world of Africans from right on here. It's almost 7:15. I am your host, Miss.ABA, ready to bring to you the news, what's going on in Africa. Of course, as we talk about that every week, we're talking about the highlights of COVID. We are talking about Bobby Wine, Uganda. We are also going to talk about interesting a couple that has been arrested in U.S. for using the money that they get for their COVID situation, rather to help people back home. Is it right or is it wrong? Is it morally incorrect? We are going to talk about that in a bit. But first, things first, or after that, we will have our special guest, and we are going to talk about returning to Ghana from a family who is being quite famous for being Dutch, being Ghanaian, having taken their two lovely children to go back and live in the motherland, and they really give a real perspective of the highlights and lows and everything that it takes to move back to Ghana. We will be talking to that lovely couple later on in the show. But first, we are going to talk about what's going on in our world, myself alongside Donnie. But first, before we get things going, how are you doing? I first want to give a shout out to you, wherever you are in the world, whether that be New York, whether that be Amsterdam, whether that be Belgium, whether that be the Caribbean, wherever you are, just a shout out to you. Whether you are listening to us via TuneIn, through our app, or through any streaming place, or you are tuning in from Facebook, or you are listening on YouTube, do say hi. Let us know where you are listening from. And if you're listening on Facebook, do feel free to share on your timeline. I know most of our listeners are really on the streaming platform, which is, where the radio is and everything. But we also like to hear from our streamers, and don't forget to share it on your timeline, share it everywhere that you go, so that we can get to talking. Africa on Focus, that is. Here is where we share our success stories. We are really talking about what's going on in the world of global Africans. Of course, none other platform than High Radio, the voice of the next generation. Truly, the voice of the next generation, a radio platform or online radio stream that has been around for 5 years plus, and is ready to take you and storm you with all kinds of news that are happening in our world. And I happen to pop up every now and then on a Sunday from from 7 p.m. to really showcase what's going on in Africa and how we can empower our community and continue to grow the impact that we can be proud of. Let me invite Johnny and see how his week has been to tell you the honest truth for those of you who might not know Holland. But man, it's been a crazy week. Since curfew has been introduced last week, it's been absolutely crazy, just crazy. That's really how it is. And we will talk a bit more about that. Let me just get Donnie on here. Hey, Donnie, how are you?
Hey there, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Did you manage? Because I saw
Back
you were
again, back again.
quite, ensuring that everything, the whole setup, the whole technical setup is right.
Yeah, I couldn't get the sound through my headphones, so I had to
Mhm.
hop out of the chat and come back in. But it's working now.
All right. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Good to see
How
you
you
back
been?
on this Sunday.
Good to see you too.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for having me. How you been? You been good?
I've been good. I've been good. Busy week. I think it had been since I actually returned from the motherland. It was yesterday where I
hmm
really had a day for myself, actually, and I slept all the way till the afternoon.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
Yes. And it was good. It was good. It was a well needed break. I think what is the lesson for me is to, plan in my breaks, really really plan for it. I never
hmm
really got to do that properly. So,
hmm
on my Insta Live on mostly Tuesday evenings or sometimes Saturday evenings, I go and have a
Yeah.
chat with people on how to stay grounded during this, pandemic. And I am learning more ways on how to, chill out and, how to have moments for yourself. So it's, um, I'm learning from them, from the people that I talk to. I think the connection is from Donny's side is a bit acting up, but that's all right. That's all right. He's gonna show up in a bit more to just have a chat of to have a chat with us about how things are doing. But anyway, I would like to give a shout out to some few people, here, and also want to give a shout out to Kwame Ananse. That's a colleague here at the radio station. Shout out to you, Ananse, for dropping a shout out. Also, I would like to give a shout out to Marquette Broussard. I happened to see you pop up once or twice or many times. Greetings, chiming in from France. Bonsoir. Ça va? Really would like to give a shout out to you. And you were saying that I believe Ghana has some steps to do in order for a mass migration of African diaspora coming to Ghana specifically. You're right. And we will get to talk about that in a bit, especially because in a few, or let's say some minutes, the second segment of the show, we will have one special couple that we will be talking to us about, what it takes to return to Ghana, the highs, the lows, the pros, the cons. So I'll definitely pick up your comments so that we can get into that. I can see that Donnie's connection is slightly picking up. And let's see if we can get him on the internet connection and get him going. In the meantime, if you are listening from YouTube, if you are listening from Facebook, if you are listening from any other platform, don't forget to share the link on Africa on Focus as we talk what's going on in our world. A shout out to everybody who's listening. I would really like to know how the lockdown has been for you, where you are in the world. I would really like to know so that we can have a chat about it. It has been crazy. And how crazy that has been, I am going to talk to you about that in a bit. But first, let's listen to some music. Let's get into some good groove, and we will talk a bit more about what's going on in Africa. Let's do this, and we'll be right back to um, I have some interesting stories. So let me just leave it at there. Let's go.
Yo, Motif, turn me up on them headphones, bro. Goddamn, feel like I'm finally back in the zone. If you want it, I got it, then I'll be happy to show. We be cracking the code with the broken sockets, the O to the G with the capital O. Oh shit, about to pull up a chopper and go ham. We piling them bodies up and it's part of the program. They tell me nigga ready to chop a nigga settle for the machete, but you niggas are ready for the Conan. Finna fuck this game up. Motherfuckers trying to figure how I came up. I'm a killer on the loose, somebody bagging every nigga on the feature. Anybody, bro, it ain't luck. Been sick since high school. I play ahead of thinking I might lose, but Buddha, I be making the right moves. I love it when they underestimate my ambition, cause they don't know what I'm planning or anything that I might do. Damn, bro, chill. Here for the piece of the pie, nigga, lazima nikule. Ain't nobody taking no chances. Got my city on my back and be coming for the crown. Buddha kani kuroga, then you know who the champ is. Niko juna mama star, mefuga marasta, wakugunga na tasta kama nesta. Na wachuna sadaka, na iluga mahasla, bro, akuna matata, boda pesa. Omolo jabondo, I'm on a roll. Yes. You fucking, I think I got a cold. Bless. Sibishani na majunior when I know less. But super nikifika penny flow. Fresh. Nimekuwa kayole kutoka 90s. Ukinitaka, then you know where you can find me. You ain't step foot in the hood, you soft nigga. I be taking over Africa like I'm the fucking Chinese. Only two niggas in the game who know how to rap right. You a pussy and you living in your last life. So all the yippity yappers I could try to follow you always rusha unapenda cat fight. Last night ili make out so tattoo. Another reason when I leo nina feel fiti. Easy level munajua zina owe watu. It's a pity to the rappers doing 360. Damn. All of the moves that we making a wave. You would think that way they work with the Navy. Competition run away cause they lazy. Combination of Ronaldo and Messi. All of the moves that we making a wave. You would think that way they work with the Navy. Competition run away cause they lazy. Combination of Ronaldo and Messi.
Rapping niggas running for cover. Man, I got the stamina ready for any rapper. When you're like in Abu Dhabi, man, the way you sap, I get nobody better than the niggas. I'm a chamo that you check out my teaching. Massa forget you Wakada, and my baby, when I made the Bejamu Kappa. I didn't know the other visit the Ghana Musaka, and the pretty for the between. How many papa rapper, papa naba. You never got it all. I sent a fed image, I was a pit from a door. Niggas on the bottom, but they can't afford. Whooping the Pamam was a Ghana, challenge, knock it off. Some more compare me to Ghana from the shimmy rough. Cause the DC on no man, nobody be really enough. Munya move money, man, I got for the mechanic, my Yamunya, I put my power up on people don't go show me love. This is for the nigga who they talk shit. For the crush economy, we controlling the cockpit. Go back, no beginning the guy you the fuck with. I don't give a fuck, it's about the chopsticks. It's a female move and be a toxic. Punchlines, but me fear, but you shut the boxes. If you're talking my nigga BMC, we're still out there, hammer, so tell you can't touch this. Still I go back to the ghetto, cause I got people robbing and killing, I gotta give a hand out. All you niggas never give a shit about a nigga, but I made it, mama tell me who the man now. But be my couple of verses, I made deliver to the fullest of me ever since I came out. All you rappers wanna be my level, but I made a lot of money while you living in the same house. So call you niggas nobody rap like this. Who feel me chop up, cause I can't practice. Who feel me so we use to bad tactics. Hip hop GRA, baby, you rap taxes. Realest shit I ever wrote. Minister was of you niggas just wanna see me broke. I'm whooping some women so I'm staying woke. I know life is a lesson, I've been taking notes. 10 years, no be joke.
Hey yo, what more could you possibly ask for? Calligraph Jones, Cody. Man, you expect me to apologize for that? Okay. What you want me to do? I'm sorry. Akali sakodi kola bongori ni gwan. So wetu chukia lakini juwe shori ni fan. Na kauni juwe keti mbali stop calling me famba. Eki tutakia sira bro. Wene si jamba. Dekifika po the one cause bodily harm. So sikanuke tuga deko za be holding me gun. Fuck who role model me shoni ni fan. Nakasi mimi ni nani cause there can only be one. We've only begun. You wonder when we go be done. But shoni ki come down. Jo ina robi ni bland. Kuna mambogi maklan. Kuna matodhi machamp. Kwa mlango yako ya keja ndo hama odi you count. Nakani mboka mi upiga high kosi return. Nakani vita buda mi wasitoroki siran. Floki siran. Nakau kwa na kopi ulan. Man I think I'm done. OG Saki sofa. All of the moves that we making a wave. You would think that way they work with the Navy. Competition run away cause they lazy. Combination of Ronaldo and Messi. All of the moves that we making a wave. You would think that way they work with the Navy. Competition run away cause they lazy. Combination of Ronaldo and Messi.
Hi. Okay, so one thing about that song, that was Sakwadya, by the way, one thing about that song that it is such a song that has been true hip hop lovers are vibing to that song. Like I shared last week that I've seen plenty of reviews that, share people's vibe in that song. And that's what Sakwadya does. Sakwadya being, Ghana's, let's say Ghana's pride when it comes to hip hop and Afro beats, sort of. And when he jumps on something and him always killing it, people love it. So shout out to him for collaborating with the Kenyan artist and bringing about. I heard some bars. I'll be taking Africa like the Chinese. Bars, man. Anyway, welcome back to Africa on Focus. I'm your host, Miss Abba, and I'm here alongside of my co-host, Johnny. Let's just say that his internet is back to normal. Donnie, how are you? You keeping up there?
I am fine. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
I know the struggle. Sometimes it just happens to fail us, right in the midst of when we would
When you
need
need it the most. Right, right, right. But hey,
So we're
we'll manage.
exactly. We're still talking about, curfew. Last week was the start of it. A lot has been happening in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and a lot of chaos has been happening as well. Did you get anything from that?
Well, where do we even start? Where do we start? Because last week, remember, I did say that there had been some demonstrations because the curfew started on the Saturday, so that
Saturday,
was the
yeah.
day before our show, and on that Sunday there was a demonstration here in Amsterdam at Museumplein.
Right.
Um, began peaceful, but in the end, you did had the police squad had to, uh, um, yeah, literally uh, chase people home.
Yeah.
Some were arrested, but overall, it was fairly contained. Not knowing that the day after, so the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, were going to be, if not
Crazy.
probably some of the worst days or demonstrations we've seen here in the Netherlands in a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That's interesting to so it began pretty hectic, but let's say yesterday and Friday was fairly calm because hey, now the police were quite equipped. They came prepared for all sorts of things. But yeah, the Mondays and Tuesdays were crazy, were just over the top, over the limits, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was
Yeah,
particularly shocked about the Rotterdam one.
yeah,
The
yeah. But
yeah,
it all began in I think Eindhoven. That was the one that really back.
that's where it started, right? Eindhoven,
Yeah.
and it was some were even like these strange smaller places where they also started rioting, and it was
Yes.
also centered around um young people, or at least
Hmm.
in the media, it was uh they were saying that it was young people. Let's just have a look at this 40 minutes clip so that people
Yeah.
outside of the Netherlands can have an idea. I see some people from France tuning in. So let's have a look.
Oh boy. Look at that. Look at that.
Crazy. So that was just
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
glimpse,
yeah.
shown by the Guardian. For us to just give all those people outside to just have an idea of,
And I,
how
sure.
crazy this past week has been. Just say that a
Hmm.
select cities, where predominantly, or they say that young people had been rioting, and
Hmm.
basically, and it's true. A lot of times, one thing I always check once I get a report of something that takes place elsewhere, outside of the
Yeah,
country where I know relatives are, I always check with them, like, is it really true?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the news that is really, really true. And it went on for over 3 nights. So what you see is that per time is that about 150 anti-lockdown protesters arrested after shops looted and cars set alight in several towns and cities. Well, Amsterdam of that is among Amsterdam Centrum, I think, because Amsterdam Southeast didn't join what I think was was really good. Even on High Radio, on our social media, we posted that, Belmer is not gonna, join in that rioting. And one thing that I love is that influencers, one influencer that I'd been following for some while, Defano Holbein, goes on live and really talks to young people and sort of, encourages them not to go in the street. So I'm really
Yeah,
proud of Belmer just not joining in, but
right.
other cities such as in the southern part of Holland. So you have Den Bosch, Zwolle, Amersfoort, Alkmaar, Hoorn, Gouda, and Rotterdam that just, I mean, people have been, I don't even know how to call it. If this is a riot, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
to
don't
it,
know.
it is a riot. Yeah,
It
definitely.
is a riot. It is a riot.
Mhm.
Right.
And so, and
Um,
there are also multiple reasons as to why, because
yeah,
that's what the government try to look at, as in
yeah,
why are they rioting? Why is this escalating that quickly? Because
yeah,
the lockdown has been in place, but suddenly when the curfew comes in, it's all that curfew was a trigger. So sociologists um, are, have been looking into why, but then you can also go on the streets and ask people, like, why are you here? Why are you writing? And then in most of the interviews, you would hear, we have nothing else to do. The other one was, we don't really believe in this whole lockdown, this whole corona thing. So it's, yeah, there are young ones out there who literally do believe that there's a conspiracy going on
yeah,
concerning corona,
yeah,
and you have those who are fed up or who don't believe that their the curfew should be in place, as it takes away their rights of
hmm,
movement and so called. So there are many reasons to it, but and this is a way, or their way, of expressing their dissatisfaction with the
yeah,
government policies or corona regulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that people, have different reasons, and they all have their, I don't know, their way of explaining why they're, part of the what started as a protest but ends up, being riots, and
Hmm.
also the part where they're looting small businesses, so the
Yeah.
average drugstore, the supermarket, they pretty much just went inside and stood on the cash register and destroyed
Yeah.
property, belongings.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a useless, thing that
Yeah.
they're doing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's just
It seems useless, but trust me, somewhere I had the feeling that this is because if you study the Western society, and you can also compare this, or the best occurrence or situation to compare this is with the capital that happened also in January, when after Donald Trump his speech, then you had all those supporters just literally run through the police squad and just run and rush the capital.
mhm,
What was their reason? Because they felt like their or a certain right has been taken away from them,
yeah,
and that to them they hold is the same conversation when you start um, on gun rights, also in the United States. It's our right to bear arms, and no
yeah,
one or is going to stand in that way. Here in the
yeah,
Netherlands, it's our right to move freely, to be free, to at least go out when we need whatnot,
yeah,
or just stand outside. So the minute a government or the House of Representatives tries to take that away from them, you can
mhm,
expect them to go to the worst or to the last extent into retaining or giving or getting back that their right. So it's a very common common thing they share here in the Western society. Whether that's good or bad, that's another
Hmm.
discussion. However, what is a fact is it's one of those things that they've stand upon that has brought them this far in
Right.
compared to the entire world. It's only here in the Western society where you find individuals or groups or people standing upright for their rights.
Right. Right.
So
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
it is,
I think I think
yeah,
this is your where your psychology, your interest in psychology just, plays a
yeah,
role.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
a really interesting perspective. Yeah, it's I think it's a good way to look at it if you want to be able to understand, I
To
think.
understand, right?
A leading Dutch criminologist, Henk Verwerda, said the riots involved virus deniers, as they call it, political protesters, and kids who just saw the chance to go completely wild. All three groups came together, and some were originally peaceful protests that were hijacked by people looking for violence. And she also told the Dutch public broadcasters, while others appeared planned from the start by people knowingly and intentionally seeking to cause trouble. So you see, like, the motivation is quite diverse. And in the light of the past night's events, you said genuine protesters should now be more likely to think twice. It's now a bit naive to say, come and demonstrate. And those left will be the ones who are purely there for the violence, and they should receive the punishment that they deserve. Of course, supermarkets are being looted and everything. So what happened was that police said that 300 people were detained on Saturday and Sunday after youths threw rocks and, in one case, knives at officers, attacked a hospital, and
Wow.
burned down a COVID testing station. And more than 5,700 fines were issued for breaking the curfew. So government also got money. um, yeah, so what really is the state here? Oh, that's random. The phone rings.
Is that the house
um,
telephone?
that's a proper house telephone, yeah. And well, the state is basically that bars and restaurants have been shut in the Netherlands since October, with schools and non-essential shops following suit in mid-December. Infection numbers are falling, but authorities fear the possible faster spread of the UK variant of the virus. And Rutte's government, which is our current president, is acting in a caretaker capacity before the election scheduled for 17 March after resigning last week over child benefit scandal. Yeah, that has really been the state of things. And yeah, just destroying people's property. That's the bit that I find, very unfortunate.
Yeah. Hmm. Me too. But
I would
here in
definitely.
Amsterdam, we wouldn't give them that chance to do so, because I believe they also had planned, and all these. So you had a group of instigators or who were planning these riots, and then they will use Telegram to they'll create a group chat in Telegram, and then that's where they would plan with where it
Meat.
is going to be the next location and at what time. And so they had planned Amsterdam Belmer, I believe Amsterdam West as well. But you literally invest. I know you had the Moroccan and the Turkish some small business owners. Literally, they went out and into the streets and in front of their stores to protect what's theirs. Here in the Belmont, what you would
Did
see
it
is
work?
that yes, it did work. There was some small incidents. They tried to push over a car, but it didn't work. A friend told me, but they did manage to burn down certain things, some small items, just to make their presence known. And here in the Belmer, I
Right.
know that there were what we call neighborhood watchers, and these were just
Yeah.
men, fathers, family members, just going out in the street, same time also there. What I liked about it is they work together with the law enforcement in protecting the neighborhood really, or um, just screening the neighborhood to see if there are people who do not belong there. Because one of the main facts is that the riots happened mainly in cities where the people doing the rioting were not from that area, right? So you would
All
have
right.
people come up, yeah. So people from maybe Rotterdam will come to Den Haag or to Amsterdam to riot here.
Right.
But here in the Belmont, we wouldn't give them that chance. A very close friend of mine who also fights this the the the,
Right.
the Black Flight, Punta Rincho. He was out there in the streets on the Facebook Live and just talking to young ones that, hey, okay, what's your reason for being here? You're trying to protest, or is this going to be a riot? And then he will just have a word with you and also advise you, hey, it's better to go home. Why? Because no one is going to protest here, not today. So that really helped, and that actually
Yeah.
saved the neighborhood. And I think if every
Yeah.
city or every neighborhood would do that, it would really, yeah, it would literally help. But it's quite down now. We've had 2 days, 3 days of peace, so it doesn't look
Yeah.
like things
Yeah.
will be escalating or will
Yeah.
turn bad in a minute. Hmm.
Gotcha. And I feel that,
Exciting week.
people. Yeah, and I feel, I generally feel that, this is no stereotyping or whatever. I generally feel
Mhm.
that, people with a migrant background have a low tolerance for just nonsense, and
Yeah,
dare to just go on the street and be like, what, what do you want to do? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I feel like they can enforce, or we, people of migrant backgrounds, just have a bit more, low tolerance for that, and just be like, young people, we ain't got no time for this, you know.
yeah.
Um,
That's the thing.
yeah, I can definitely I can definitely see that. Um, One thing also is that I would really like to know how people are catching up. We have one, Marquette, who is based in France, who is really
Mhm.
sharing an interesting story. She is sharing the lockdown in France is looking to go to a third lockdown, and curfews has been out in place from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., which is then, worse than this place. I know
So,
Belgium owns start from 12. So yeah, France is quite serious, and the airports in France are pretty busy 3 weeks ago. It is slowing down now since they are not allowing UK and US to enter by air and sea. Right.
mm,
And French military are monitoring train and land travel, strictly for family or business only travel. No tourists or visitors to come to France. It is possible you will be denied entry. That sounds quite serious. You know,
yeah,
that
they're closing
that
their
is
borders.
yeah, yeah. I know France doesn't play. I know Germany is also, also makes no jokes.
Yeah,
I would say. And yeah, you could just definitely compare it all. I think, based of what the surrounding countries are doing, this curfew slash lockdown will pretty much be a fact till April, May, I guess.
yeah, yeah. It's looking like it. Especially, Netherlands started doing it since after watching France and seeing that, hey, it's working over there. The cases are
Yeah,
diminishing now, going down. So they'll since
yeah,
their curfew here. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be for a long time. However, the current date is still, I think, to the 9th of February, or yeah, for 3 weeks, and they might renew the curfew. But then, since we have the elections coming up in March, it's either they will loosen it up a bit before the election or right after the election. It's we
right.
still have to see what's going to be happen.
How
What's
things
going
work
to
out.
happen? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So wherever you are, if you're listening from wherever you are in the world, let us know how, lockdown Lockdown has been treating you. Shout out to men like Gary, who is saying hi, Johnny. Specifically, he's saying hi, Johnny. What about me, Gary? And also shout out to again Marquette Broussard, who is commenting on the topics that we are talking about. Also a very relevant topic is the vaccines. Latest news: more than 30 new vaccination centers are due to open in England this week as the drive continues to protect the population against COVID-19. The 32 centers include the Black Country Living Museum in Dudley, a racecourse, a football stadium, and a former IKEA store. It comes after government figures showed more than 6.3 million people in the UK have received the first dose of the two-dose vaccine to help protect them against the coronavirus. And actually, is it a record-breaking let's say almost 500,000 were vaccinated in a single day over the weekend, suggesting the country is on course to meet the government's target of vaccinating 15 million of the most vulnerable by mid-February. A, that's a target, man. And with the first four priority groups now being vaccinated, attention is turning to which groups will be offered the vaccine next. Union leaders have called for transport workers to be classed as a priority group after a surge in deaths. And Rail Maritime and Transport Union General Secretary McCash said a more infectious and now it seems more deadly variant of the COVID-19 virus, plus an increase in passenger numbers, is a lethal cocktail threatening rail workers with deaths and illness doubling since November. That's the latest UK case of this vaccine. And here they say in the Netherlands that the Netherlands is one of the EU countries that's behind, on vaccine. The other only other country that is more behind than us is Bulgaria. Right?
Yeah. Netherlands is not doing pretty well in that sense, but it's a small
Yeah.
country, and this vaccine it goes on like you have to place an order, and then so depending on Pfizer and how what the priority is, that it may be UK first and then this next and then that. You can tell a country that has only 17 million citizens will pretty much be in the lower ranks of order or on the priority list. But they're trying hard. They're trying hard.
Yeah, they're really
But yeah,
pushing it.
they are pushing it. But
They are
the UK
pushing
is
it.
doing very well, doing really well. I think they reach that target of 15 million in February,
Okay.
because they I think now they're almost on 9 million already, and that's
Yeah.
of the first dose. So first dose and then second dose. Yeah, they're on a good track.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you actually believe that new variants, the ones that have been showing up in UK, South Africa, and Brazil, do you think it's real? Because some people
Well,
just don't believe in all of this. And
y-
isn't it quite random that a more dangerous type shows up? Isn't that a bit like random? Like, what do you think of the whole story?
it also my older sister, one of my older sisters, live in the UK, and she's a nurse. She's a certified nurse, and so I had a chat with her over the week, and she was tired, just tired. And I asked her what was going on, and she said it's too busy. This third wave is it's so much worse than the first two waves.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and she said this is what she said. So she said, so I asked her, not like, so how about the new COVID? And she says it spreads faster. So because it's spreading faster, instead of having one patient to look after, they have now per nurse, they have 2 or 4 patients to look after.
Right.
So
Right.
this meaning, and 4 of such shifts, working these kind of shifts in a row, is also taken a toll on the nurses. So you
Right.
have also the workers as well as just regular citizens um, being the victims of this new variant of COVID. But
Yeah.
it's definitely real. Um, is it more deadly? They still haven't decided if it's more deadly, but automatically, if more people get infected because it spread faster, the chances of more deaths are higher just because more people get infected. But yeah, so that is a thing over there, the new COVID, and it's already in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Crazy. It's really
yeah.
really crazy because then I get to ask like, how does it even start? Is this what's like the medical story behind this? Because this is super weird. A new type. The type that is already out is crazy. And there are some cases that have been popping up, and I think that one of our special guests, Palgrave will also share with us because we know somebody who had it, survived it. I think it would be
Mhm.
good to have a moment to talk about that, to
Yeah.
share that it's real. You know, Also one case that I've discovered. I discovered it on my timeline because people I know this particular person.
Mhm.
Then Taz actually having a show. I think afterwards, I think in an hour time or something regarding this particular case, and it's a young businessman who is the CEO of one of the renowned bakeries in UK. One of the renowned Ghanaian bakeries, which is called, let me just say the name right. Let me say Uncle John's Bakery. He is
Yeah.
one of the founders of, it's a family business, and he recently launched his other business, which is a wine business in Ghana. He had many plans, and he was 34, 35, and unfortunately, he passed away, some days ago due to COVID. And it's such a painful thing to read about. I didn't know the particular person, but just imagine like this is somebody's brother, a dad and
Yeah.
everything. His name was Samuel Mensa, if I say it correct. Entrepreneur, very vibrant, strong, young. And he was admitted when he was admitted to the hospital. And yeah, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. And this was somebody
Oh
who had
boy.
plans, a bright future ahead of him. I think we can all agree that that's such an untimely death. And that's really the case how it is now. you know what
Yep.
I
Yep.
really
Yep.
want to
Yep.
say with that is that the safety first is really important. Really
Yes.
ensuring that you are safe, you are in health, you are kept all right, and that you and your family are also doing the right thing that is needed, because it's really real. And I always find it sad just losing people over this, these type of things. I really, really pray that, you know, ourselves, our own wisdom, of course, and the good Lord will take us through this. Um, Also want to give a shout out to Inshraba Quick, who is Siam. We say, watching you guys live, keep up the good work. I also want to give a
Thank you.
shout out to Marquette. I quickly need to send the link to our special guest. Could you share her comments, Donnie? Do you see it from where you are?
I do see it. I heard, so our dear Marquette is saying, I heard the vaccine in France is being delayed on the review. It wants to make the vaccine mandatory according to political figures. There are 5 new pharmaceutical companies, such as Nova AstraZeneca. I haven't heard of that. It is slightly different from Moderna and Pfizer vaccinations. It is not the same variation of vaccines. So check the pharmacy. What is the name of the laboratory? Make sure you do your research with who has put out new info about these new laboratories. No one, including healthcare systems, are dot dot dots. Yeah, so
Are like,
basically
yeah,
she's giving us more insightful information on where these new vaccines or where vaccines actually come from, and that we should be watchful of the laboratories where they are made. But here's the sense that the regular or even I myself have no clue or any information on what is a lab and what's not, or what is
yeah,
a lab that is in the interest of us and what's a lab that's in the interest of politicians. Um,
exactly.
that makes the issue on vaccines so it's like you are powerless, really. Why? Because you don't,
Yeah,
not only do we not have the power to get the right information, we can't
yeah,
change anything about it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because if it becomes the law, if it's legislated and we have to take it, it's you become powerless
yeah,
over these issues. But any bit
yeah,
of information from our listeners or even from our amongst ourselves helps. It it raises
yeah,
our consciousness. It raises our awareness. We become aware of at least what is going on in the world. We don't have the power to stop a lot of things. However, we do have
yeah.
the power to get knowledge or to get some information on our
We
surroundings and
do.
what's going on. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for sharing that.
yeah.
Very insightful.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. I
yeah,
think that um yeah, I would say, it would be good if we could, um, by so doing, inform ourselves. Obviously,
yes,
we don't want people's opinions or people's observations to become facts, because then you
no,
see our parents, telling us that be me who message our WhatsApp, so they'll be like, okay, this is fact and this is truth, and then be
mhm,
bombarding us with all kinds of news and stuff. And yeah, that's not really the way to go about it. But yeah, definitely, it puts us in a weaker position because we're not medical
yeah,
experts.
yeah,
And then we also have to find, the medical experts that can inform us well, about this.
right,
But I think that a lot of, especially Black people, are saying, you know what, I'm gonna wait this out. I'm gonna wait until the very end before I take
yeah,
the vaccine, because we know that with these things at first stage, either they're gonna probably discover that the first batch wasn't as powerful. The first batch only lasts for like 3 weeks or something like that. It's always that way.
yeah,
And
yeah,
in
yeah,
in
yeah,
this case, Europe is really rushing, the whole vaccine thing and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I guess it's safe to say that let's wait it out and let's see what happens. And stay safe. I would
That's the thing.
definitely
Yeah,
say that.
stay safe.
Definitely
Yeah,
say that. Absolutely. Because now it's not the case whereby only older people are, what's it called? Their lives are ended, but just young people. And I think I even read somewhere like some kid has it. It doesn't happen often, but
oh,
every now and then I just read that some kids have it. God forbid. God forbid. Really. Shout out to Marquette for sharing with us, how it's going on Friends. Do continue to update us on the highlights, the lows, on what's happening regarding COVID-19, and we will be talking about that and some more on our way to our news flash. Just to announce you, and for those of you who just tuned in, either that be from the High Radio app, whether that be from the website or our social media channels. Welcome to Africa on Focus. Myself, alongside Donnie, every week we talk about what's going on in the world of Africans. And every week we happen to take on a topic that is relevant to us, how we can share our success stories. In a bit, we will have our very special guests, and they are like I would say like the past 8 months plus, they have been in high demand of our listeners. So don't be surprised if the listeners on Facebook specifically shoot up, and the people on the radio side shoot down because people want to see this lovely couple. They want to hear more of them, and obviously, since the topic of returning to Ghana has been major in spite of COVID, because the amount of returnees that we ran into when we went to Ghana, I don't know if you also noticed, was still very high. So it's a very interesting topic to be talking about. I know our listener, specifically one from France, has a whole thing to say about returning to Ghana and what government should do, blah, 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 blah. We will be getting into that in a bit. But first, let's listen to some music. I think, Pato Ranking has some good vibes for us. And when we come back, we will be delighted to talk to our very, very special guest that we have on. I'm very excited that, they responded to our invitation and they are right all ready to be talking to us. So, first, let's catch some good vibes with some music, and we'll be right back.
Ah,
It's Ocean be the sound doctor.
Jaja, sweet oil, butter ranking, comfy tell them. For a lot, I won't be the best. Anywhere them call people, may they call me first. Like the birds, the turning at the nest. Father, you're my prayer request. Oh Lord, I won't be the best. Anywhere them call people, may they call me first. Like the birds, the turning at the nest. Father, you're my prayer request. Say, I want to go back to mama if I don't make up for you. Say, I want to go back to it. I say, I don't make up for you. I say, me love you cause me get jaja. I tell them, say, my blessing is nana. Oh Lord, give me kiss to the beaver. Just one dinner with my Rihanna. Oh Lord, I want to be the boss. I don't want to lose. When I enter darkness, make you be my touch. So my baby no go happy if I don't give her the best. Oh Lord, it be my prayer. For Lord, I won't be the best. Anywhere them call people, may them call me first. Like the birds, the turning at the nest. Father, you're my prayer request. Oh Lord, I won't be the best. Anywhere them call people, may them call me first. Like the birds, the turning at the nest. Father, you're my prayer request. So make us a boss. When me stepping out the street, everybody does it. Boss. When man I touch down the road, man I pull up in a boss. All of the people will look down on me, that they make them lost. I pray to God make he secure the connect. The problem no pass where see them be wallet. My heart desire for like 2 hours. So when them bring the bill, I no go down. I go get back to you. Now wash. I don't forget my token again. Now wash. They go, I go do one for you. Now wash. Oh Lord, nothing they want. I won't be the best. And you hear them call people, may them call me best. And like a bed, sit down in the nest. But I am my prayer request. Oh Lord, I won't be the best. Anywhere them call people, may them call me first. Like the birds, the turning at the nest. Father, I am my prayer request. So make us a boss. When me stepping out the street, everybody does it. Boss. When man I touch down the road, man I pull up in a boss. All of the people will look down on me, that they make them lost. Big stone stop.
All right, well, that was Pato Ranking with prayer requests. I'm slightly, starting to get the hang of it, with this not being at the studio. When we are at the studio, I can just, mix the music and things. But us being on our lockdown session, streaming from home because of, the curfew and everything, we just thought it'd be better to bring it back anyway. Since we've had our best conversation when we temporarily went on a lockdown mode. Anyway, welcome to Africa in Focus. Here is where we share our success stories. I'm your host, Miss Aba, alongside Johnny. And just a bit, 5 minutes after 8 p.m. Amsterdam time, we are tuning in here with you from High Radio, the voice of the next generation. Since we are in this lockdown mode, we have our different listeners from every angle listening. If you're listening through the website and through our app or tune in, we just want to give a shout out to you. Thank you for giving us a bit of your time. If you are on Facebook, if you are on, what else are we on? YouTube and everything. Don't forget to spread around the link, spread the love.
Yes.
Sharing is caring, and it's absolutely free. Tell all of your friends that Africa Unfocused is here. Every week, we promise to invite somebody that can, inspire us in some shape or form. And this time around, we think that highlighting returning to the motherland is worth our time. If we could do that every week, I think this is that would definitely be our time. But we do that today with a very interesting and lovely couple that we know. Johnny himself has been on one saying, I really want this particular family to come on
Yes.
on the show. So Donnie just came on with a whole list of questions, and we were like, "Ooh, I think I think this will probably be too much to stuff in 45 minutes to an hour." But we will be sure to ensure that we ask all of your questions, and obviously for those of you who have been demanding and asking to also do share the questions if you are on YouTube, on Facebook. But without further ado, this is a noted family who is, let's say, experiencing quite the celebrity life through
Yes,
their
sir.
channel. Through their channel on Facebook, as they returned to Ghana, didn't just return to Ghana, but as a young, lovely couple decided to share the highlights of their returning journey with the world. So I think it's about every week or quite often as they can, you get to have a peek in their life on how it is to return to the motherland. I know um, the lady of this a couple years ago, she became second. I think it was second on the first ever Miss Ghana Netherlands, and since then I've been keeping an eye on her. She was, I think, then also kind of talking about cultural differences and some of the things that she was running into. So I think even back then it was on her mind to return, but we will talk about that. They go by the name of the Champong family. We have them here waiting for us, so let us just welcome them to come on board. Let's
Round of
see.
applause.
Hello
Round of
there.
applause. Hello.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having us.
Good evening. Thank you for making time for us. I mean, listen, you are somewhat like a celebrity family, so I was like, oops, I hope they have some time. How was your Sunday?
Oh, good.
Great.
We've been to the beach, so we just came back and showered and then got ready.
Right, right. Yeah, you can definitely see some sort of, I don't know if it's a beach glow, but
Ah,
definitely.
that's the Ghana glow. Ghana glow.
Yeah, I can definitely say it's been really on you, and you look good and glowing and healthy. That's really what it's
Thank you.
what it's about. So how have you been this far? I mean, 2020 lockdown-ish. Ghana has been sort of lockdown-ish. How has it been for you in terms of that?
Well,
I think we've been very blessed to be here. Like every day we wake up here, I feel like we are blessed to be in this part of the world, and I'm very happy with the decision that we made.
Mhm.
It was a little difficult when the kids weren't going to school. We had them at home for over 10 months, so that was a very challenging time. But now that school has started, so we're very happy.
You still get to have some bit of your life.
Yes,
yeah.
we're getting it back now.
I love that. I love that. So just been adjusting and then now things are gradually going back to normal, or at least that's what I hear from people that we know in Ghana.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good news. Well, I think so for Anna, we know you as being sort of the front runner, especially on social media via Champong family. Could you tell us a bit, in your own words, who you are, and of course your hubby, because people know him, but they hear you a lot. That's really what it is.
I like to talk a lot. Okay. So I'm Anna Champong. I'm 30 years old. This is Kevin at Champong, and we've been together for over 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yes, we have 2 kids. And yeah, 1.5 years ago, we decided to come to Ghana and document that move because we felt like people have a very biased picture of Africa and Ghana. And there was something I didn't like. So basically, we started a YouTube channel showing our friends and family who were like, just follow my YouTube. And it was just for us and to update the people around us. And then that grew into something bigger and inspiring lots of people we don't even know. So yeah, we're still working hard on that and trying to show as much as possible from daily life in Ghana.
Right. Awesome. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. I think the world loves it too, because that just shows because your YouTube channel is like on fire. That's what, that's what we can definitely say. Did you even just did you expect that to like grow in a way that it has now, where people really come to your channel for knowledge actually?
Not at all. We just thought that basically the first videos we made were just like, hi mom, we're here now, so we don't have to upload 10 or 20 relatives. So it was just a tool to make it more easy for everyone to show what we're doing. And then, yeah, I think when COVID hit, that's when
our minds changed about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And basically we started doing more and started also thinking about, we already thought about the content we're bringing up, but it just hit us more because, well, we had a lot of time at that moment staying in the house, being on lockdown.
Yeah.
So you start being creative and think about what you're really doing, what's your message, and who we're trying to reach.
Yeah, and a lot of people were reaching out to us saying that, how do we do what you do? And can you just come and live in Ghana? And so many questions that we thought, okay, maybe we have to take it a little more serious.
Yeah. So if I understand it correct, the COVID experience actually boosted your time and dedication to the channel.
Yes.
Yeah. While COVID is really negative, it has also a positive effect on a lot of people and also on us. It inspired us to do something different and continue our quest story.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. So creating opportunities for yourself as well. That's what I think is cool to find out. I'm sure you've shared this story like many times on your channel. People have been interviewing you and all of that. But could you share with us a bit of your life before Ghana? It was Amsterdam, I think. Both of you come from Amsterdam. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
How was life then? How did it look like? Your day to day, your job, family wise, and things.
Okay.
Well, basically, it was at the beginning just us as a couple, and being in a relationship for like almost 2 to 3 years, and we had the urge to create a family, and we started working on that. Started to try to rent a house, which was impossible at the moment. Bought a house in another city, Sandam, and from there on created life. We got Sophie Jane, and I was working. Anna was going to school, and we tried to just make the best out of it, which was working very good. But you start running into like a fast life. And at a certain moment, we wanted more in our life, so we created Maika.
Well, it didn't go like that.
Well, when Maika came, it was like it was really an impact.
It was a surprise.
It was a surprise, but
Was it? Oh, it's a pleasant surprise.
I wasn't finished with my studies yet, but he was very welcome nevertheless. But when Micah came, it was a little more difficult because I was basically, the way we divided our life was that Kevin was the man of the finances and working, and I was able to go to school and take care of Sophie Jane. That was how we separated it. But then when Micah came, it got a little too much for me, like going to school, taking care of 2 kids, household, and then Kevin be working all the time. So I would say that I was getting a little frustrated to be at home in the house with the kids 24/7 and then basically raising them by myself. And he would come in the evenings, tired from work, and then traffic or whatever happened. And I was like, is this the life that I want? Is this the life that I'm going to live for another 10, 20 years? And I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. So I was thinking about other opportunities, but there was nobody around us or that I heard of that would ever go and take their life to a whole new country or continent. So the thought was there, but I wasn't really thinking about it like a real opportunity. And then I think when we finished building the house, we were so tired. Like we did how do you call that? Nieuwbouwwoning. I don't know how to say.
Like entirely new purchased home.
Yeah, from the ground up, and you had to make so many decisions and choices, and that was like another layer of work we had to do. And I think we were just both a little burned up about making so much decisions and going through all that. That we decided, let's just take a year off and then go and live in Ghana for a year because our fathers are from Ghana. We wanted to know the continent better, and we thought, that's doable. If we just do a year and we come back, that's very reasonable. People take sabbaticals. So that's initially the first step that we took. Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't like you guys were moving over fully. It was let's have a sabbatical and then just go in and test the waters a bit.
Yes.
Oh wow. I had no idea.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We were like basically 9 to 5 life in Europe for a bit. Yeah.
And trying to discover more about our heritage, more about our culture, which we didn't really got throughout our fathers. And they maybe try their best in their way, but we feel like we want to give our children the best if possible.
Yeah.
And to give the best, you can get it where you are in your own environment, with books, with people around you, with lectures and everything. But we felt like the best experience for them is to go back to where we originally came from, and them witnessing everything, them learning everything, and just being around everybody is the best impact they can have in their life. And I really sincerely hope that one day in the future they could look back and think, yeah, that's a good decision, because
our parents made.
I wish I had that experience when I was young.
Because you both are what they call biracial, right?
Yes.
So, and it's Dutch and Ghanaian, both of you.
Yes. And both of us are Dutch mothers.
Oh man. But then where does this, because it started with you, Anna, that you had this urge or thought of I have to see Africa, or like, I don't know, maybe it's something from within, but someone or some way or another, you found this interest in your heritage or your identity. Is it an uncle or something, or where does this come from?
I used to come to Ghana all the time, so I knew Ghana as a child, and I just loved being there. That experience made me always very humble. Like I would be in my auntie's house, or I would learn so much from that summer vacation. Like I'll come back and I'll be so blessed to have just running water. I'll be very, very nice to my mom and respectful. And I think after like 2 or 3 months, you go back to your normal life and forget all about it. And then when the summer vacation comes again, you learn the experience again and again and again. So I think when I was growing up, I didn't really understand the value of having those experiences. But when I was an adult, I really started thinking, well, like, whoa, these are values I also want to install in my children. But then European life is so fast and easy, and like sometimes I would think by myself, like, we will go to the store with Sophie Jane and I will buy something in action for her, and then she will ask, oh, can I have this as well? And I would just buy it, and I would think by myself, but wait, is it really good to just keep buying all the stuff for your kids? But if you have the money and they ask for it, sometimes you don't think about it. So I was thinking of another way to let them experience a different type of lifestyle. And then the thought of Ghana came. But a big part in that role was the year of return, and the fact that the president said people need to come back to Ghana. Yeah.
Right. Because was that the same year you guys moved?
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
So we saw all the festivals and all the things planned of Year Return. So initially we wanted to be there from the start, but because the house was not done yet, I think we got to be here like half of it.
Yeah. It was August that we came.
August, yeah.
So we missed out some things, but in the same. At the same time, we try to do the things that we missed by ourselves.
Yeah.
The festivities started at like early January 2019.
Yeah. And that made me click that, okay, maybe it's really possible, because I didn't even know that you could stay a year in a country. But since the president said that's okay, let's just try it.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that.
I guess it will be a fun surprise for the president to know that is one of his policies that he pushed through during his first term of presidency led to the arrival of the Champong family. That would be the explanation. Have you guys met him already?
No, I don't think the president knows about us. Of course not. No,
not yet.
I think he inspired a lot of people, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my invitation. I really want to see the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's speak it into existence. You never know. Absolutely. So what once arriving in Ghana, of course you packed your stuff and things, like where did you start? Was it like, okay, we're gonna stay at our uncle's place, or and like with job wise, what did you decide to do, and how to leave the house? Did you rent it, or how did that look?
So initially, we started out a couple months before we left, even longer before that, trying to figure out where we're going to stay. And good friends of us have a house here, which they don't use unless they're in vacation or in Ghana. So there's a possibility for us to rent that place for a bit. So after working everything out, that's the place where we started out. Unfortunately, things weren't as what we expected or what we thought it would be. So that gave us at the beginning, start points of our journey in Ghana, a lot of stress. Because at the same moment, we were looking for a school for the kids because they were required to be registered at a school in Ghana before a certain period due to the Dutch government. So there was a lot of stress in the beginning, figuring out where we're going to relocate, and when we're relocating, also the school needs to be close by because that's something, a big factor in Ghana: traffic, school, and the location of your house. So that's how it really started out at the beginning. And job-wise, well, I quit my job to make this possible.
For the first, we didn't think about staying here. It wasn't in our thought at all. We just finished building a house. So our thought was we're going to stay there for like 10 months or a year and then come back and then be in our new house. So we didn't even think of staying. And we saved for it to be here. So we saved to be here for a year. We budgeted for a year. Yeah.
Right. So some good planning needed.
Before
you actually take that step.
Yes.
It's not like just saying, let's go tomorrow and come here and figure everything out. Well, you run. You run back.
Yeah. But I
What
do
was the
see, yeah,
yeah,
I
no, go
do
on.
see the just do it type of action, because a lot of returnees that I talked to, they were like, okay, of course you have to calculate your budget, but if you're gonna wait too long and be hesitant, you'll probably not go.
True.
Oh, that's true. That's
True.
very true.
I really believe in just doing it instead of having too many thoughts. I mean, you can structure everything, you can plan everything as much as you want, but at a certain moment you need to take action. And by taking action, you're taking a risk. You're going into maybe a bit of an uncomfortable situation because you're used to your cozy life and your cozy situation. But the moment you take a risk is the moment you're going to grow as a person. And I believe really in that perspective. And I think Anna also.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here in Ghana.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just need to take the chance, the opportunity in life to do things.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Donnie, I thought, I thought now you're gonna drop your question, Donnie.
Well, yeah, I have so many questions, and everything they say. You can have a follow-up question to it, but then I'm afraid we won't get to cover the entire experience. So I'll reserve some questions for another meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the interesting we discovered from your story is that you said Ghana saved your relationship. Could you share with us how that happened?
I was really frustrated about the 9 to 5 lifestyle. And so my day was waking the kids up. Kevin would already be gone to work, dressing them, taking them to school, rushing home, doing some little cleaning, trying to do some work for school, then going pick up Sophie from school, bringing her to gymnastics, going to rush to the supermarket, trying to find something to cook, rushing home, either cook and then go and pick up Micah from daycare, rushing home again, trying to put them, have dinner, put them to bed, and then Kevin will be there. And he'll be like, oh yeah, how was your day? And I'm like, how was my day? You weren't there, right? So it was too much for me. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I was like, is this the life? I mean, is this what is life? Rushing up and down each and every day. And then I would also think that Kevin, I'm not saying you, did you like your job?
My last job. Well, that's a question I get a lot. To be honest, look, the work itself was good. The work itself was good. It was just, I was working with some people who are like, I don't know, I can't explain it. I've never met people like that. And not all of them, but yeah, sometimes things happen. And it happened to me and other people. But sometimes you get to work with people who are on another level, not on a normal level, not on an intellectual level. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to perform well while you know that you can perform very well, and you also perform very well. People are trying to get you down for the stupidest reason because they're so insecure in life and so immature. So
it was frustrating for a lot of people. So he will also come home frustrated. I will be home frustrated. The kids, that has effect on the kids as well. And I was just thinking that this can't be life, Of course, weekends were nice and you get to do so many fun things in the Netherlands that we sometimes do miss now. But we are so much more together here. There's so much more that you take out of the day, and just waking up to the sun, that does something to you. I think Black people need vitamin D way more than is given to us in the Netherlands. So I have a different feeling of waking up in life here, and then just being able to go to the beach, or I don't know. I can't really explain the happiness that is instilled in you once you're here. It's a very different way of life.
Right.
And this happiness is also shared by Kevin and your kids now, right?
Yes. I think so.
I think the fact that to me a lot of things are like an adventure, especially exploring Ghana. that opens and unlocks something else for me. I mean, in Holland and in other countries, I really like to explore, but in Ghana, it feels so different. It feels that it brings me so much joy, so much knowledge, and especially a lot of reflection moments, like, oh, okay, I understand why I react in situations the way I do, because of certain aspects I've learned here in Ghana or being with my family. And that's something I didn't really have the chance or opportunity to do earlier in life or on a later part in my life. So at this moment, yeah, I'm really like getting to know more about myself, and yeah, that's something I really like and
You're
love.
really turning into a family man as well. And that,
I mean,
I
yeah, but the thing is,
it?
no, the thing is being always on work, a 9 to 5 job, or making even more hours. You're mainly full-time away from your family, so you get to have like a small portion of time to spend with them, either in the night.
The weekends.
It's 7 to 9 even. That's like, no, the kids sleep like 7:30, 8. So there was like every day like half an hour, and that's not enough. And then in the weekends all the time, but then there's also other things you need to do. So looking back on that situation, it gets frustrated at the moment that you want to do more, but you're not able to. And then you start thinking about how you've been brought up, and then the things you really miss and the things you really liked. And those things really affected my decision in coming to Ghana, and thinking that, okay, well, this is something that's going to change me as a man. It's going to change me as a father to my kids, and as a husband to Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, and then, so this changed you personally, but in what way do you hope it will change or help develop your children, contrary to them being raised up in the Netherlands?
I feel like I hope that they can really see the difference between the two countries, that they really understand what it is to be Ghanaian, what it is to be Dutch, but see the difference in life, and especially in how they interact with people. The moment you're here with similar people, or people from your same background, and you're not used to that in the Netherlands, it will change you. Like, I've seen it with my daughter and how she interacts with other children, which was very different in Holland. She was really looking up to children in a different way than she's looking up here to them. Although in the beginning she couldn't talk and speak and communicate with them because she didn't know how to speak English. But still, seeing her changing and seeing how she glows from it, that's something that I hope during the studies and everything, that it manifests in something bigger for her, and she really finds her place in the world eventually. I don't want her to be like in search of something that she doesn't know where it is. Well, she is now here. So now she knows where it is. So later on, wherever she goes, either any country except for Ghana or Holland, she knows where the base is, where home is. She knows it from as well as Ghana as well as Holland.
I was going to skip this question, but now you actually touched on it. It resembles the identity issue that from let's say testimonies and also research, a lot of mixed race do have, especially if you half African and then half European, living in the European country and raised by your European side. There's always this feeling of, Anna said it in one interview, that not belonging. On the one hand, you don't belong to the Europeans, and then on the other hand, you don't belong to the Africans here in Europe. But then from her mouth, being in Africa was totally different. You get accepted. Can you please, touch on this issue a bit more?
I really think that's true. I mean, you always feel like, especially when you grow up in Holland, you feel like I'm not totally accepted by these people, I'm not totally accepted by the other people. While coming to Ghana, and I think also in other African countries, you'll be accepted. It does a lot. It does a lot to you as a human being. It's good for all the insecurities you maybe have had in the past. It's good to know there's always a place where people really accept you for who you are, without even asking you any question, without even knowing where you're from, what you've done, what you've achieved, anything. They just accept you as it is, and that's something that's really, really, really nice and really precious.
Nice.
Yeah. Can you both can you both agree that the experience is different? Because I always, in general, when I speak to people, and I think this was a bit before this wave of returnees, and I'm going to, Ghana. This was maybe 5 years ago. You would have some people that didn't feel like they would fit in if they would return to Ghana, because they felt that, oh, if I return, they're gonna say, oh, you're a Abrochin from Kola, you know what I mean? Like you're from, from the
Yeah,
West.
bro.
So they
Yeah.
felt like that rejection was from both sides. But for me, because I had worked in Ghana for, I think it was 7 years ago, for some months, and I, for some reason, could not compare the two, as to how I feel in Netherlands and how I feel in Ghana, with the small rejection for me that I saw. I just didn't feel like it was the same in as in terms of rejection. How do you both look at it? Would you say, okay, I understand how that person would feel? Would you say, like, yeah, what you feel in Holland is absolutely not to be compared in Ghana? How is your experience with that?
Well, we don't, to me, I don't experience any negativity in Ghana except from people thinking that we got a lot of money. That's like, they see us and they think that, wow, this is like walking in tears. But everything around here is positive, and sometimes so positive that it makes me shy. Like in the Netherlands, I encounter racism on a daily. It is not boldly in your face, but it's sneaky, low-key, undercover racism. And I feel that. I feel that a lot. And in Ghana, it's not there. Like, you can tell somebody when the person asks you, like, oh, where are you from? And then you say, oh, yeah, I'm Ghanaian and Dutch. They're like, wow, happy. There's no question. While in the Netherlands, I will always question, yeah, but how are you Dutch? Like, okay, really true. It's not that they say that, but they ask, like,
can you prove the documents?
Exactly. Like, can I see your documents? Can I see your papers? Like, and I'll say, oh, I have a Dutch mother, and then you see them thinking, like, okay, she has a Dutch mother, so okay, so maybe she is a little Dutch, but she's not really Dutch. And then they say, oh, you speak Dutch so well, how come? And then I'll say, I'm Dutch, I was born and raised in the Netherlands, Dutch mom. But they'll still always try and find a way to point that you're not really Dutch. While here, yeah, it doesn't matter how you look. Even I think a white person can say that he's Ghanaian if the person speaks Twi or any other language, and he'll just be celebrated.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
People take you here as you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Without any judgmental things or anything. And back in Holland, that's different, of course.
Yeah.
That's not only in Holland. I think also in other European countries. Yeah, that's.
But it is sometimes also difficult to deal with, because sometimes you get like overpraised just for being mixed race or maybe white, which is also very weird.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. So we're still learning how to cope with that. But it's never negative. No, not for us.
Do you guys speak the language?
No.
Like Twi or Ga?
No.
Not yet, but the kids are learning at this moment, and every time they come back home from school, we're trying.
Little
we're
by
trying,
little.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's never too late.
Let's hope so. But it's a big issue with us too, because I feel like if our dads would just have spoken their language with us, for me it would be Gan and Ewe, and for Kevin that would be Tree. It would have made life so much more easy for us here, and even the identity, right? Like if you can speak the language, speak your language, I don't know, the sense of belonging is way more easy and quicker. And yeah, I think that is something that the generation of our fathers have really lacked in, or really not taken that as serious. And I think that is wrong, very wrong, especially when you have mixed race children.
Yeah,
It's the least.
yeah. I spoke to, was it some years ago, with a psychologist or some person doing some research relating to intercultural things. And I think he did some research and it proved that most of the time you copy, most of the time, the language that your mother has.
Yeah.
So for some reason, the dynamic from a father, unless it's really like, forced or it's really focused on, it was less likely that children mm, speak the language of their father in case the father was from a different culture.
Okay.
So that piece of information kind of stuck with me, and then I observed in my environment, mixed cultures and things like that, that most of the time, but not always, the children would know the language that the mother was speaking thoroughly. And from the dad side, maybe understand the language or just nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
And to
believe
add
that.
on that, I think that's why they call it the mother tongue, or the mother tongue, and
Right.
not the
Right.
father tongue. So that's where it
I
comes from
know
actually.
mixed race half castes who are brought up by a black mom, and by all means, they can cook Ghanaian dishes. They know how to speak the language. They go to
Right.
church. Everything is given through that, and that I feel dads need to step up. I mean, if you are, if you make a child, that is your responsibility
Your
to
duty.
teach your culture to that child. It doesn't matter if you're still together with a mom or not. That is a responsibility I feel is with the dads as well.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
9 to 5 is keeping the fathers away from
Yeah.
their children.
But then
So, but I know they're trying. We try.
But nowadays we have technology. Nowadays we have apps, so we just
Yeah.
we have now, because of COVID, we are so good in remote work. We know how to create things and send it to our app to them.
Right.
But a language is picked up so quickly by children. I mean, Sophie and Micah could not speak a word of English when they came to Ghana, and within 3 months they are fluent. So I don't believe that. I think that
How old are they?
they're 8 and 4.
Yeah, 'cause I came to the Netherlands. I was born in Ghana, and I came to the Netherlands when I was 8 years old as well. And I picked up the language so quickly. And now even you couldn't tell that I wasn't born in the Netherlands. It's always I have to tell them at work that, hey, I'm not born here, so that's why I want to go back. And they say, you're not born here, but your Dutch is so good. I'm like, well, it's. But hey, yeah, the children do pick up language and other mannerism very. It's a perfect age actually to take them there,
Yeah.
even if it's for a year, that they
Yeah.
can get the most out of it. Yeah,
I can
beautiful.
recommend it to anyone.
Sorry?
I can recommend it to anyone. I mean, if there's one drop of blackness in you, I just think you need to visit Africa.
I agree. I agree. I will support you on that movement. Absolutely. For those of you who just tuned in, welcome to Africa Unfocused. Here is where we share our success stories on High Radio, the voice of the next generation. as promised, we have our lovely couple, the Champongs. They are, let's say, Dutch Guinean returnees who would root for everybody to do the same. And as to why they should do that, the ins and outs, everything we are talking about that with them as of today. We are receiving questions already. Thank you. Shout out to Marquette from France, who's already shooting questions. I will make sure that in, let's say, 5 minutes, I'll be sharing the questions that are coming in. And just like we were afraid of, Johnny, like time flies and we're trying to mash all of the questions that were sent in and that we have into the last couple of 50 minutes. Um, let me see. Let me see. Okay, okay. I have the next question. So one thing I really wanted to know from you, you mentioned some self-reflecting moments that you ran into in Ghana, like some things that you would learn about yourself and things like that. I always have that when I go back to the motherland. Could you like give us a few examples of some of these self-reflecting moments that you run into?
For me, it is a better understanding of my dad and the way that he does certain things.
Oh, okay.
It can sometimes be funny, but growing up in the Netherlands with my mom and then my dad coming to take me for the weekend, or sometimes just forgetting about me and not coming, there was a lot of resentment towards him, and he would do type of things like putting his hand out of the car when he's going to another lane. That was what the F are you doing? I mean, there will be things that he does that I just don't understand. And for him to, like, he's very, like, he wants to eat his African food every single day. And like changing a rhythm, you would always think, you would almost think that maybe he's autistic because he doesn't like change at all. But coming here, like, I understand him so much better. And there's no real resentment there anymore because I see now, like, okay, if you're brought up like this, of course you're going to behave like that. So I can't blame him. I think that is, for me, the biggest reflection in having a better understanding where my dad comes from, and therefore a better understanding for me, sometimes crazy and weird ways. Yeah.
For me, it is more that I always try to communicate with my father and try to understand him better, especially know his part before he came to Holland, before I was born, like 3 years before that, to understand what type of a guy was he, like how did he grow up, who were his friends, what did he used to do, and he really don't like to talk about it and anything. So when I came here, when I went to my family in Kumasi, not only this year but over the past 2 visits before that, I started to understand more about him, and by understanding more about him, I understand more about myself. Seeing how he reacts in things, seeing how he does his things, and hearing that from his brother or from his sister helps me to understand just and understand the ways of life here in Ghana, why people make certain decisions, and also basically, understanding the resemblance in my family, because if you would see my father, if you would see my mother, you think this guy is
He's
adopted. I'm so tall. Yeah, really. But seeing then my family, then you can see the resemblance. Then you find out, okay, maybe it's skipped, or it's just the genes from my grandparents that has flowing very strongly. Especially for my grandmother, very strongly. Skip, maybe my father came back to me. Those things happen, but before that, I never knew nothing about it. But being here and seeing those things really helps me in discovering myself, helps me understand things, and that's basically it.
Okay.
Right.
Whilst we're on the topic of reflections, this is a psychological question. Most of the, let's say, behavior are passed, believe it or not, through genes. So even if you grow up in a totally different environment than your parents, you will have some behaviors or some characters from your biological parents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Looking back to yourself, we'll start with Anna. What is one thing you would say that even though I did not understand my father very well, I am this way and I'm this way because of my father, or I do this thing in this manner, and that's exactly how my father used to do it, and that's very like the African way of doing things. And the same question with for Kevin as well.
Difficult. I don't know how exactly I act like my dad, but I think his work ethic is very high, and so is mine. And in Ghana life, you have to hustle. Like there is no backbone to fall onto. There's no social welfare or anything like that. And I think there's a bit of similarity that my dad came to Europe for greener pastures and I came back for greener pastures. So maybe that is like yeah, we were both looking for a better life, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe that's a similarity.
With me, it's what I can really see that has passed on is the devotion into accomplishing things, into getting things done. I can see a lot of the way he had influence with his people, with his friends, and always want to be with them and find ways how to entertain everybody. I can see that back in myself over the last couple of years. Although it changed a bit in the last several years, but I can see where I got it from. And I can really see where I got my energy from, especially since a child. Like the energy I have to do things, it's like Duracell batteries. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. So I can see where I got that from, and even from my mom, I can see the similarities.
Nice, interesting, man. Interesting.
Right. And what about this 9 to 5 life? How is it different in terms of routine, you know, for here in Ghana where you are now? How does
Yeah.
it? How
Do you still work a 9 to 5 or?
No, not at all.
24/7.
It's 24/7 now. Yeah. No.
is it?
I mean, the change.
What do you guys do?
The change is big. I mean, we're doing YouTube at the moment, and we're on the background trying to create things which help other people. But at the same time, going from a 9 to 5 to completely having all the time in the world, but then starting YouTube and then structuring it makes it a bit difficult because you have to balance everything during the day, business-wise, family-wise, partner-wise, and also separately-wise. Like we're all both our own people, so that's something that was really challenging, especially during COVID, during the lockdown. But at the same time, I like the fact that we have the freedom and the creativity to structure the way we want. I think when you have worked a 9 to 5 for, well, in my case, since I'm 18, so let's say 15 years almost. I think after that period, it's something that's really opening you up and driving me more to create something that's doable and very healthy for the family and very healthy for my peace of mind and for my family.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to spend more time. So it's no more. And you can see that Anna is at peace.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I'm having a migraine, so I'm rubbing my head. But yes, definitely more peaceful, and we are more together as a family, which gives me like, oh, finally I can breathe. Finally, I can take a little bit of a step back. Like Kevin goes on vacation with them alone, which he has never really done in the Netherlands. And then,
one time.
Oh yeah, true, with Micah.
With Micah to Senegal.
There's so much more, like we do it 50-50 now. We're both parents now. And I think in Europe, there's a system where it's like forced for at least one of the two parents to work all the time, which is not a system that I really agree with, or I really think is healthy for kids. And yeah, my dream is just to create a better life here where we can just both be the parents that we want to be.
You know how I can tell that Anna is very happy? Because in the previous video on YouTube, I saw her do a cartwheel, a ratslag with and I was like, okay, wait, hold on. You have to be as happy as ever as an adult to just do a cartwheel in your room. In your room. So that was
Well, I was gymnast when I was young, so I still got some little tricks left.
Nice, nice. But by the way, that was in the house that you renting, or have you bought that house?
No, we rented that. Yeah.
And I'm really glad we rented it. Look, the house was very nice, but at the same time, I still remember that when we came to Ghana, we just finished our own house. We went through the whole process from beginning to ending, and even later on, changing things. And even when we were in Ghana, I added some things while we were here on a distance. And I'm so happy, and I'm so, how do you say that? Not humble, but I really appreciate the fact that we rented the house here in Ghana to understand how things work, to understand how things are built, and to understand more about what we need to know the moment we start purchasing and buying, building a house. I'm very grateful for it because I know exactly what I want now.
Ghana builds very different.
It's very different compared to the structure we. Of course, it's a different continent. Weather, the climate has an impact, but so many things that can be done in a better way, in a different way, and I've learned that in the former house.
What are things people should look out for in, let's say, even renting a house when they decide to migrate or to move back to Ghana?
It depends. It depends if you have a family and you have children to go to school. You really need to look to a place that's close to the school due to traffic. There are a lot of agents who you can use. There are websites where you can use. Only the thing is, things change a lot. Information changes a lot. Things are not available while they've been listed there for a year. It's not that advanced as like a Fonda from NL, where you can look for a house and then it's sold or it's rented out, and then by next week you won't find it anymore. Here are things different, and I think here in Ghana you really need to roam around.
You need to be here
physically and see where you're going to rent, because from doing those things from a distance, like
it's close to impossible.
Yeah, no, it's not impossible. It's possible to do it, but the possibility for you to get disappointed.
It's greater.
You didn't thought about a church being next to your house, or a road that's being constructed, and because the constructions are not going to finish within now and 6 months, there's going to be a lot of dust in your environment, which is going to affect, well, probably your health, probably everything near your house. So those things, you really need to go to places and see it, and then make up like a top 5, and then start into the negotiation about the prices, because the price is something else. Also, I mean, people always start
always
here, but you just need to know some things in order to also negotiate in a proper way that it's acceptable for the owner, but also for you, because in the end, it's you that need to budget things. You can't go and live somewhere and pay 3,000 a month, and while you budget maybe for 4,000 a month for everything, so you have to live from 1,000. It depends on your whole situation. You really need to think carefully about all those things. Don't go in the first boat you see. I mean, let the first boat sail.
And talk about maintenance, you know? If you rent a house here, mostly you're gonna pay in advance. And then once, I'm not saying all landlords, but a lot of landlords just take that money and maybe fix the house before you come, like paint and all that. But once you're there, they're like, it's not my problem anymore. And then you have ACs not working, leakage of toilets, or anything can happen. And those are things you need to really think of and put it in paper, so in writing, so that you know that, okay, this person is responsible for this person is responsible for that. Yeah.
Very important.
A lot of preparation. Jeez.
Yes. I think the thing that helped us is, of course, our Western look on things and the Western mentality, which helps you a lot here. But you also need to understand you're in a different country, you're in a different culture. You need to respect those things and find a way to interact with those, merge with those, and get the best out of your situation. That's something that you really need to consider.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Oh gosh. Almost rounding up the last question, because we have one from our cat. I think Anna answered that in some way. Is the A family, the A family. How many times did you go to Ghana before you decided to actually live there? I think, Anna, for you, it was every summer. How was it for you, Kevin?
Twice. Literally twice. I came the first time, 50 years of independence of Ghana was my first time to Ghana. I was there only for 5 days, unfortunately.
That's short.
Yeah, I was like 3 weeks in Togo with my family, with my brothers, because they're from the first marriage and they had a Togolese father. But troubles with the embassy and getting my papers done and everything got delayed, so I had like only 5 days. Then in 2014, I returned with Anna
and
Sophie Jane, because I was very proud of my daughter, I still am, but I really wanted to show her to the family and let her see Ghana, and also for us to just be here, because when I travel, I like to be somewhere for a longer time. Anna was here like maybe also for a long period, but she wasn't really doing things, and I'm the person who's always going to places, doing things, and I really wanted her to experience that also with me. And
that's the first time I really seen Ghana, when I came with Kevin, because my dad would not take me anywhere, and I would just be in my auntie's house like all the time.
I was like, let's get the car from her cousin and then go to places and see places, because I'm not here to stay in the house. I'm not that person at all.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Good thought. Good thinking there. Also, another question is one that came from Danny. How was meeting the former president, former president Kufuor?
We did not meet him. That was Wademaya.
Oh, you didn't meet him?
No.
I thought you had.
That was Wademaya. He's also a YouTuber, but it wasn't.
Right. What was speaking that into existence? Who knows?
Yes.
Anna, you became second at the first Miss Ghana Netherlands. Any plans on picking up any career in the public eye, modeling, or any of that?
No.
No?
Well, YouTube is also in the public eye, so in that case, yes, but not like that anymore. No.
How about going to the movie industry in Ghana? Because
wow,
I know. Hey, remember, like back in Ghana, let's say 15 years ago, you had this light-skinned guy, also named Kevin, I think. He was like one of the superstars in Ghanaian movies, and you would see him pop up in every other movie. So maybe maybe there's a movie career.
I would never say never, but then I'd like to help them pick it up a notch. Like I don't have the patience to watch a movie for 3 hours. That is not me. So if they can speed the process up and we're not watching somebody grab a drink for 5 minutes, I can definitely be in the movie.
Oh yeah. Or the party scene.
Things have changed. Things in the industry are saying, but can you remember still now, if you go to YouTube and watch the old Ghanaian movies, your sound, your speakers from whatever you use.
Oh, that's still a thing.
But they're trying. They're trying. I think Nigeria had a deal with Netflix on one of their series or something, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this is also something that will happen in Ghana soon, because I know there are
Nigerians. They're far. They're really far. We should work a lot with the Nigerians because they're really far with in the industry. Yeah, sure.
Hey,
They don't play.
They might need.
They don't play at all. They don't play at all. If you come to the Netherlands, what would be the first Dutch thing that you would grab to eat?
Kaasvlees.
Kaasvlees.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say first Dutch thing to eat.
You just go for the kaas.
Or anything that you just get in the Netherlands.
I just think like a broodje kaas, a broodje gezond, broodje gezond, that will be like very nice because I love cheese. And getting the cheese from Holland or from France here in Ghana,
it's difficult.
It's really like a challenge sometimes. Yeah. So I miss it. I miss it from time to time.
Right. The big chunk of cheese, Gouda or Jong Belegen.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh. Well, we've reached the end of. I think this is definitely one of the inspiring conversations that we had this year, and we would really like to know from you. Like, do you have any last words for people that would like to come to your end? Obviously, to return to Ghana, and one thing. That people also would like to know, is there any chance of you guys coming back to the Netherlands? How is that perspective?
Definitely. Netherlands is our home. So I think what our goal is to try and create the best of both worlds. We got our life set in the Netherlands and we're trying to work to get our life set here. And then hopefully when COVID and all that mess is over, we can just fly back and forth whenever we wish to. So I think that's the goal that we have. Yeah. And for people, maybe this is a weird thing to say, but I think this is the best time to come and stay here for a longer period because people can work from home at the moment. If that feeling is in you, you don't wait for it for too long because Africa and Ghana is changing and it's on the rise. I mean, the people who are buying land over here is no joke. I'm not saying it's going to be finished anytime soon, but just come and try and invest in Africa. And I think you need to live here for 6 months minimum to really know your ways about. And of course, you can buy land and build and do whatever you want to do. But coming here before you do that will gain you so much more insight in what you're buying, where you're buying, what you're building, where you're building, and all that. And I think this is the best time. And
I feel like people should take the opportunity. If you have thoughts, work something out and start with it and just go with it. You can't make any mistake in following what you really are dreaming of or following your heart. There's no mistake in doing that. There could be bumps on the road, yes, but you know how to deal with them once you face them. Just try it out, and especially when it comes to coming to Ghana, also come with something you're going to add to the country, to contribute to the country, because I think since Ghana is a third world country, of course,
developing
nation. Well, not third world, but it's developing nation. But think about that and think about how you can contribute to it.
Yeah.
It's nice if you're coming here, but come here also to do something, to help.
So much value to be added, and especially when you are of any other descent, like you were born and raised in another way. Like people here selling plantain, right? they might not know what else you can do with plantain, while there are so many things.
Yeah.
So if you bring that knowledge from Europe, there is so many business opportunities. Like just roaming the street, you will see 20 or 30 things you think of which can be created into a business. And I think Ghana can be one of the leading nations if just more people would be willing to come back and invest. Yeah. And keep up, because behind the scenes we are working very, very hard to help all those people who have millions of questions on us. But we can't share too much, but we'll be launching something very nice soon in a way to help everybody who has questions on coming to Ghana.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to that. Any last shout out?
No, thank you very much.
Shout out to everybody who's following us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Who takes their time to look at our videos, comment on them, like them, subscribe to us. It means a lot to us, because in the beginning it was just a fun thing, but it's growing out to be something very big. And I appreciate all the people who really take the time for it, and I hope we grow further than we are now, and I hope that we still continue to impact people's life and help people in a decision to come to Ghana or to come to any other African country or to make a move to another country, because by vlogging, making videos about our daily life or about special things, it helps people to understand things, to do things, and I'm really thankful for the position we put ourselves into to achieve that for others.
Yeah, I love that. Well,
shout out to your
family.
kids.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to your kids. Like, give them hugs from
us.
A Champong family, thanks so much for hanging out with us this past hour and answering all of our demanding questions about Ghana. You know, we will keep an eye on you, and hopefully when that guy Donnie, or should I point that Donnie is will be getting to return to Ghana anytime soon anyway.
Oh, nice.
And so we will definitely be catching up, hopefully linking up with you. Have a sweet Sunday and a good week.
Yeah.
And,
by the way, the president is having his so-called speech right now.
Oh
so.
yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And once we come, we will bring some cassoufflé, Anna.
Oh yes. Thank you.
Thanks so much, and have a good week.
Bye.
Same to you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, Donnie, here we are. Oh man, it's so cold up here. Oh my gosh, I'm good. It's cold. Oh my gosh.
It is cold.
It is cold, man. That was such a good convo, and I mean, I love it. This is the type of stories that I love to dive into, you know.
Me too.
And
Me
these
too.
are part of the stories that just change the perspective of our continent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoy the conversation a lot, because we get to understand them as individuals too, which is very important, because many of us are there and we'll probably have the same feelings, the same situation, because I've also been working 9 to 5, and then when I started, and it started when I was doing my internship. I was like, no, you cannot be kidding me that this life is a 9 to 5, 5 days a week. So already I was, I got shook by how it was like. So, and then so we all have these different scenarios or positions that we're in, and having the Champong family come on and also describe or give us info about their journey really helps us to not only resonate with them, but also see the possibilities of doing things differently as an individual. So that was really, very good interview. Really cool.
It was.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah, Me too. I
Mhm.
co-sign with that.
Yeah.
Well, as we've reached the end of Africa Unfocused, we would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Marquette, shout out to men like Gary, Don Alvis,
Yeah.
everybody for engaging in this. I think probably I am so sure that once this podcast come out, it will be one of the best listening to so far. The highlight podcast or let's just say the recap of the conversation had been the one we've had with Leroy Nimo. That one is a top one.
Mhm.
The one we've had with Yvette about agriculture, in Ghana. The one we've
In
had with
Ghana, yeah.
Sabine Fonderson, the
Sabine was
doctor, regarding COVID and
the
things. And
online doctor.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And there was also one that we recently did, which was catching up quite good. Oh yeah, the one with Denta, obviously, is really
Yes, of course.
is popping.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
I really expect this conversation to be really listened to. Make sure that you check out Africa on Focus. You can find us on the YouTube, Facebook, and everything. High Radio, of course, as well on all the social media platforms. Donnie stays hidden from any online channel, but maybe we'll bring some changes into that. Since he's slowly transitioning to GH. And of
Yeah.
course, you can follow me on all your social media channels at Miss.ABA. Next week, we are going to come back with some quite interesting and
Yeah, what we
influential
got?
people where we talk about the position of faith in our community. And of course, the usual news flash. So that would
Yes,
be,
sir.
yeah, that would be it. Sharing our success stories. This is Africa on Focus. We will be wrapping up with the last tune. Let's just see King Promise Shatawale with All Right. And we will catch you next week.
Eh, oh, oh, Papa, thank you. Oluwa na go tell. Yemi alade, Sele popote, Chineke na go tell. Person where hustle supposed to chop, it's supposed to pop, it's supposed to chill. Person where walk supposed to dance, it's supposed to rock, it's supposed to flex. But don't you forget, yo, say no be by might, yo, always be thankful. Oluwana go de, rather no be crime, yo, to spend your money, but always be thankful. Maka if I di go ma, even if you no get yo, never forget to say bye, thank you. Oluwana go de, and if you to get yo, never forget to say bye, thank you. Chineke na go de.
Person where drive is supposed to park. He not supposed to like you. He supposed to park. Money even. He man a bumper supposed to have.